and you're listening to Communities Live on Sheffield Live Radio 93.2 FM with me, Susie Casson, and T-Boy's busy washing up for once. And we're joined in the studio by Rachel Bauer and Joe Irwin from Verse Matters.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for coming in. So first of all, what is Verse Matters and how are you both involved?
Okay, so Verse Matters is a feminist arts collective. We was set up about in May 2015, and the aim is really to create events that provide a supportive space in which people can share their work. So there's always really experienced performers alongside people who've never read their work before, and the idea is to share lots of stories and for the audience really to be part of that, what that means. So to be there witnessing, it's kind of a relationship, isn't it, between the audience and the
a lot of the members of the audience get up and read out some of their own work. It can be anything. It can be poetry, it can be puppetry, just anything they want to share really. Sometimes they read out their other people's poems, but it's as much about the audience, we think, isn't it, as about the performers.
Lovely. So you're both sort of coming from a different angle. Have you always been an organiser of it?
Yeah, so I founded this after the general election in 2015, and I really felt like in Sheffield there were lots of voices and stories that weren't really being heard, and I felt like it was really important that we came together in solidarity after that result, and in order to support the people most vulnerable and most affected by that. Joe has been coming along right from the beginning, supporting. I don't know if you want to say something.
I've been coming, and we've got a mutual friend, and we're interested in writing. We're both writers anyway, and I have been to several sort of similar events, and I just found that it was much more energetic and positive, really good fun event to go along to. So we've been going regularly when I can, and I really wanted to get involved, and it's obvious that it's getting bigger and there's a bigger audience, and there's a lot for one person. I couldn't actually believe that Rachel was doing it on her own. So myself and 2 or 3 other girls at the moment, but there may be more, I don't know, because we wanted to sort of get involved. It's been great fun. We come together and we're just trying to get artists. We all know different sort of artists, so we can help contact people, and even with the administration, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's just really about been a very positive, friendly, supportive environment really, and so far everything's great.
Yeah, and we wanted to relaunch as a collective because to make it more sustainable, because we work a lot with other partners. We work with the Arch Project and with Assist and lots of other organisations in the city, and it felt like to make this more sustainable we need to become more established. So we've got this brilliant collective with Cez and Joe, Salome, Kieran, and we're kind of working, doing a bit more kind of collective decision making and developing it together, which is exciting. It's brilliant to have extra people helping.
Fantastic. It sounds like it's really growing organically, doesn't it? And the way you want it. Brilliant. So you've got an event coming up soon?
Yes, so our next event is next week. If anybody wants to come down, it's Thursday the 9th of February, and it's always at the wonderful Theatre Deli. So the Deli is an amazing place anyway, so it's at 7:30 till 10. We always have there's 3 featured artists, and then there's some open mic slots which are bookable in advance. So if anybody wants to come along, if you want to read, then get in touch with us. The next event's full, but we've got a Young People's Open Mic on the 23rd of February, which Young People, the last time, it's a Hive partnership with Hive South Yorkshire, which are also brilliant. So for young people, if young people want to come down, share a poem, share a story, share anything, people can read from a page of their favourite book, or you can share anything. And then after that, the next event is the 9th of March, and that's an event for SheFest, which is for the International Women's Day Festival in Sheffield. So we've got loads going on at the moment, which is exciting.
Yeah, wonderful. So what kind of people tend to come along to the events?
Everyone, don't they?
This is one of the things that I think is really attractive about it, is that you just get to hear so many different stories. The saying, I was really interested to hear people come from all different sorts of cultures, walks of lives, and the nice thing about I think writing and poetry particularly is that anybody can stand up and tell a story and about their lives, and it can be just as interesting as some of the professional writers that come in. It's so you really do sort of find out a lot about what's going on in the city and the outside world as well. I think because it's people are able to share their personal experiences, and it can be quite quite emotional sometimes, but I think that's what makes it a real joy to come along to, is to hear stories from even refugees and everybody really that's come along. It's been fascinating.
Yeah, it's really important to us that it's really inclusive, and that I think our youngest performer maybe was 7, and I don't know how old our oldest performers are, but we've got a massive age range, and everyone's welcome. And it is a feminist arts event, but we're really inclusive and intersectional, and we want everyone to feel welcome to come along. So we do special events as well for Refugee Week and for She Fest, and work with lots of organisations to make sure that people who might not usually encounter each other in everyday life can hear each other's stories, and it seems like more important than ever to do that now. So
yeah, and it creates a really magical atmosphere, doesn't it, when people are sharing what's very personal to them, doesn't it? Yeah, lovely. Yeah. So I think Verse Matters is linked to the S2 Food Bank.
Yes, it is. So it's always been really important to us to not only make a difference by coming together in solidarity in that space, but to try and radiate that effect out. So we always collect donations for the S2 Food Bank at the events, and that's organised by Kev and Mick, who are brilliant. So we and the food bank's really are facing massively increasing demands at the moment. So we wish we could do more really, but we always split take-ins between performers, but we often do kind of special events as well. So like for We Shall Overcome, we collected for the Arch Project as well. So it's a really important tenet of Verse Matters that we do something well we're also sharing.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, lovely. So as we said, Sheffield is full of poets, musicians, artists. Why do you think it is such a creative city?
I don't know. I think I actually really believe that everybody is a poet. Everybody's creative, and I think Sheffield's a brilliant place and a wonderful city, and I love living here. But I also think that everybody's got a role to play in what needs to happen at the moment. I don't know if you want to say something.
No, I agree. I think everybody has got their story, and I think sometimes people don't think they're a bit. They don't think they have got something to say, but actually they probably have. But I agree. I know I think there are a lot of poets and musicians, but interestingly, a lot of the people I've met that have got involved in or are getting involved in Verse Matters are through friends that I've met in other cities. But I think a lot of people gravitate here because it's such a lovely city to live in, and so friends that have been in Liverpool or in Nottingham, we've all ended up here, and we're all we're all similar types of people, like musicians and artists. So we all sort of gravitate here because it is such a wonderful place to live, really, I think.
There's some great community grassroots arts-based organisations as well, and there's loads of brilliant events, I think. So the stuff that Word Life's doing, the stuff that Hive South Yorkshire and Gorilla, and there's loads of opportunities, I think, for people to share their work. So possibly that creates an environment in which everyone can flourish and write. And lots of people come along to Verse Matters, and then after being coming for about a year, start writing as a kind of in response to that, and then come and perform their first poem or their first story, and then they grow from there and come back as featured artists. So
fantastic. So as you mentioned, we're living in quite a very unsettled time at the moment. What role do you think poetry and spoken word events have to play in that?
I think it's a really good question. I think that in the most kind of difficult times, it's often produce the best art, ironically. But I think we've all got responsibilities. I wouldn't want to say that I think that it's a special responsibility for poets. I think that the levels of misogyny and xenophobia and also difficulty that lots of people are living in, levels of poverty in Sheffield and inequality, I think that actually we've all got a role to play in our everyday lives, in being kind to each other and doing everything we can in small ways, as well as looking beyond our communities and looking kind of transnationally at what we can do. So I think, poetry travels, it speaks to people, it creates empathy, it makes people cry, it makes people laugh, it makes people angry, and I think that's brilliant. But I also think that we kind of have to also go beyond that.
I think one of the things, this wasn't the reason I got involved originally, but I think because of things that have happened recently, I've realised I think it is more important to actually sometimes get out of the groups that you're comfortable in and actually go and meet people from other social groups, and I think that's probably the most positive thing. I've been really proud to sort of get involved and work with Verse Matters because just because of the diversity of people, and rather than the working against each other, you work together with different social groups, different ages, genders, ethnic groups, and it brings everybody together. And it's suddenly the importance of that has just become more pertinent, I think, with the recent events.
Especially events like International Women's Day and the Migration Matters Festival at the Theatre Delhi. We heard stories and music and saw visual pieces of art from refugees, and I think by hearing those stories and more fully understanding those human stories, then we can maybe start to see each other as equal citizens and move kind of beyond sympathy towards empathy and towards solidarity, and what can we do together to try and resist this situation and change the situation. So
Lovely. So the next First Matters is a week tomorrow, Thursday the 9th of Feb. What would you say to someone who's contemplating coming along?
Come along. Come along. We're really friendly. Lots of people come on their own for the first time. We've got the four of us will be there for anybody who are kind of friendly faces around. If anybody hasn't been before, we're always there to chat. And just come and listen. I mean, lots of people come, and the variety is really... there's a big variety of kinds of performances. So people sometimes get in touch and say, oh, well, I only write this, or can I do this? And we always say, yes, you can come and perform anything. So just, come along and listen and witness and,
Yeah,
it's fun.
It's fun. It's really uplifting. There hasn't been one occasion where I haven't sort of learnt something, met some really interesting people, and just come out not feeling really happy at the end of it. So yeah, it's definitely worth it.
And bring a tin or a dried piece of dried food or a sanitary product for the food bank as well, if you can. It's the idea is that it's really accessible. So there's it's pay what you can. So come whether you've got any money or not. The idea is we suggest a donation of £3, but nobody is policing it. You can put in what you want. We share all that money between performers, but the idea is that it's accessible to everyone. So if there's any reason that you can't come, get in touch with us, and we'll do what we can to support you to be there.
Great, lovely. And Theatre Delhi, of course, is on the moor, the old Wallace building, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, great. So how can people find out more?
Okay, so we've got a website, which is there's a WordPress, firstmatters.wordpress.com. We've also got a Facebook group, so you can join the Facebook group, which is First Matters, and all the updates go in there. And then there's also an event page for it. So the event for the 9th of February is a Facebook event. So I imagine if you Google that, you'll find that, and that's all updated regularly. We're on Twitter as well. We're there on social media. So just Google and you'll find out. Come along. And if you've got more questions, then feel free to email me, Rachel, or Joe, or verse.matters